Welcome to BODS Mayhem Hour, your source for all hard rock, heavy metal, new metal, alternative, punk, horror punk, hardcore, rock, and all local bands, with your host, John the Bod, a.k.a. the Bodfather.
Hey everybody, this is Sarah.
And Andrew from Aurin.
And you are listening to BODS Mayhem Hour.
The views and opinions of the guest do not necessarily reflect the views and opinions of BODS Mayhem Radio Network, its staff, affiliates, or sponsors. Parental discretion is advised. Welcome to BODS Mayhem Radio Network.
Hey everybody, welcome to BODS Mayhem Hour. I am your host, John the Bod, a.k.a. the Bodfather, and as always, I bring you guys and gals and ghouls and goblins because we're about ready to kick into Halloween, but, you know, every day is Halloween for me. I'm a Halloween horror fan, so there we go. Close to October. But anyway, it's a huge privilege and honor to have Sarah and Andrew Wayne of Aurin, and Aurin has released their third album, which is out now, called Serotonin, via TLG INgrooves. Also, Aurin has released their music video for Brother, and I had them on the show here earlier this year before this album came out, and they were pushing the song Pause, Rewind, Repeat. So we're going to be talking to Sarah and Andrew about all this stuff, and basically, guys, how important of the song Brother is. Not just to Andrew, but to everybody out there who has gone through something like this. So we'll get into all this stuff. So Sarah and Andrew, how you guys doing? How you been?
Hey, we're doing great, John. Thank you so much for having us.
We're still kicking.
We're hanging in there.
That's good.
Trucking along.
New album Serotonin is out now. How's it feel to finally get this out to everybody? And so far, how's the reaction been from everybody who's got to listen to this album and got some feedback to you guys?
It's been really great to finally be able to release this album. We wrote the songs about like a year and a half ago, and we actually recorded the album last year. And since that time, we've just been working behind the scenes, trying to push it, trying to get some publicity and momentum behind it. So it almost feels surreal for the album to finally be out after we've been waiting for so long for it to come out.
I mean, as far as, you know, the reception to it, I mean, our first week literally just passed, you know, last night. So we're still waiting to, you know, for final numbers to come in if you're looking at it from that perspective. But, you know, people have been reaching out to us, and, you know, especially about, you know, suicide and mental health issues. And Sarah has been working with Heart Support, which is a great mental health charity that you know, works with music.
Yeah, they're a nonprofit organization that raise awareness about mental health through music. And they actually offer a lot of free resources online, such as they have counseling. They will mail out material to educate you on mental health. They also have a great community of people to support each other that are going through mental health problems.
Yeah, so I guess it just to sum it up, it's been very humbling just because of the outreach, the people that have outreached to us and said things to us and shared stories with us. You know, just in the past couple weeks alone, I wouldn't trade for the world.
New songs to us, but old songs to you guys already.
Yeah, exactly.
Isn't that always the case, though? By the time, generally with a band, by the time their album is released, they're already sick of the songs. It could be their first time playing them live, and they're like, this shit again? Come on.
Oh, I don't feel that way yet. Maybe give it a couple more months. But
this is your guys' third album, Serotonin. In today's music world, some bands only put out an EP or album, and then they're done. You know that just as well as I do. How does it feel to be able to still put out an album, especially now because of how so much has changed in today's music world?
Yeah, I mean, our last album we put out in 2014. My dates are a little screwy, but things like iTunes and Amazon and the digital side existed, but all the major streaming stuff wasn't there. I think Spotify was like 2015 or something. And back then, we were still, our label and everything was still like push CDs, sell CDs, hard copies are everything. The music industry never quite adapted yet at that point, and it was kind of just a strange time. But that's and then our last release before that was in 2011, and we put that out ourselves. And, so our experience has been kind of really eye-opening because the industry is so different now. Like, everything is just digital, purely digital. Everyone wants streams. Everyone wants you to buy MP3s and this, that, and the other thing. Well, we kind of looked at it, like I said, everything was a physical medium. We counted, our sales. We reported SoundScan at every show. I'm sure bands still do, and we do as well. But, it's just such a different world because you are looked at completely by your streaming numbers now. Like, your streams are sales. And that's such a strange concept to me.
Also, with that being said, we hope to release music more often currently. I mean, it's been quite a gap between Serotonin and our last album, Catharsis. But I mean, we're back in it, and we're really excited to keep making new music and keep releasing it.
But are you guys wanting to do along the EP route, or do you want to continue to put out an album, or you just want to put out singles? Because, I mean, it's so up in the air with everything right now.
Oh, it definitely is. And I think, I know when the band Stained was talking about getting back together, they said if they do new music, it's probably going to be something like singles. And a band that I love, Dry Kill Logic, is kind of going the same route.
Yes, sir.
And that's probably the route we're going to take because you get so much more notice and traction on one song nowadays than you do on an entire album. When it used to be the complete opposite. You had the singles to support the entire album, and now it's basically like you put everything you've got into one song.
Yeah. I feel like definitely these days the trend is more towards releasing one single at a time.
Today I was driving around, and that actually crossed my mind because I was thinking of Metallica's Black Album, and I was thinking about Wherever I May Roam.
Yeah.
I kept thinking about, God, man, back in the day we just released this, say, Wherever I May Roam, and plus it's a single, but there's other singles on that. You just had the one single, but there was more stuff added to it. It's just weird that how things are now. It's like, oh, I can't wait till my favorite band comes out with a new single. Well, I've got all their singles instead of all their albums. It's a weird, it's a really weird world that we live in now with all this stuff.
Yeah, it used to be like you released an album, you maybe had one single that came with the release or around the release of the album, and then for the next 2-3 years, you put out singles that were on the album already, that people have already long heard and were familiar with. Mm-hmm. People just waited to see the music video, and all it did was support the album.
Yeah.
It's, now it's just like you said, half these people have a single or really love a couple songs from one artist and kind of don't even realize that there's other tracks to listen to.
Yeah.
Different world, different way of consuming things.
I feel like because it's been so long since we've put out new music, that it was necessary for us to actually put out another album as our return. But yeah, from here on out, I feel like we could be shifting into doing more singles.
I know this is a crazy question, but do you have stuff written already in the works, possibly?
We have some stuff that we were working on while we were working on Serotonin, and I feel like some of those songs could make a resurgence.
This album, Serotonin, just debuted at number 1 on the hard rock charts, number 3 hard and metal, number 10 on rock, and number 37 overall music sales on Amazon. How proud does this make you guys, especially doing this independently, doing it yourself and still doing real good like this?
Oh, I mean, we were pretty shocked. So our friend Tyler Palinkas, who's basically we call him our 5th band member, but I guess he was going to buy the album on Amazon last Friday, and he was the one who noticed that Serotonin was starting to gain some traction on Amazon. So we were all a little bit shocked because we weren't sure that people are still out there buying music. We thought that people would be mostly streaming this on Spotify. Which people are, which is
or
amazing.
Apple Music, whichever you like.
Yeah.
Or Tidal or Deezer, whatever,
Yeah, exactly. But I mean, it was really cool to see people out there wanting to buy the album from Amazon and wanting to support the release of Serotonin. It was really awesome. And we're shocked and humbled and extremely thankful.
How special is the artwork on this album for you guys?
The artwork was everything to me, really. So, I mean, I guess we'll talk about it in a bit, but Brother is about my brother who took his own life, and the album itself is comprised of artwork that basically I had left of his that, kind of fit into a theme that was also on a high enough resolution to print. So it wasn't easy, but every little thing in there is something he did, including one of the last pieces he ever sent to me before he passed. So the artwork all around, not just the front cover, is all him, all Eli. And my whole thing is I always wanted to honor him, which is part of the reason for the song Brother itself. And this was basically the only way I thought I could. So I'm very proud to have put out something like this that can show off how talented he really was, how much of a prodigy he really was.
Yeah, and we're going to be talking about that here in just a little bit, folks, because I do have a couple more questions here on this. So, Pause, Rewind, Repeat was the first single off the new album. Looking back, would you have still chosen Pause, Rewind, Repeat, or would you have chosen Brother after looking back on this now?
I think we still would have chosen Pause, Rewind, Repeat, because I feel like that song is still like very indicative of the direction that we went in for the album. And I feel like it was like a cool single to initially get people amped and wanting to hear more of what was to come.
Official music video for Brother was directed by Eric DiCarlo. You worked with him previously on the video Pause, Rewind, Repeat. Try saying that 3 times fast, folks.
Yeah, it's difficult.
How's working with him on this? Because you guys worked with him quite a few times, actually.
He's fantastic. I mean, he's such a professional. He's affordable, and he does it for the love of doing it. I mean, the guy has a red 5K camera for crying out loud. He knows his shit. It's a professional package. He has assistants, lighting, you name it, locations if necessary. But yeah, just working with him has been easy. He's very laid back. He's a genius when it comes to videography and ideas and, how to light a scene or how to make a scene darker, creepier, or more interesting, whatever have you. And yeah, it was a no-brainer to go right back to him after doing Pause, Rewind, Repeat for the Brother video.
Now we're going to talk about the Brother video and the Brother song here. The single Brother, it hits home for many of us who have lost someone from suicide. How important is this song, and to have this song reach out to people who need help or need someone to turn to? And Andrew, this song for you, and I know this is a little personal, but man, I feel like we're all good friends here. Did this allow you to heal a little bit more? I mean, we never forget them, but did this just allow you to grow a little bit and heal a little bit more possibly?
It's kind of, no one's actually asked me that.
That's a great question.
Yeah, it really is. It's kind of like a double-edged sword where one's sharp and one side's dull. Like, on one side, it has helped in the fact that, for many years, I was all fucked up about it. Like, in the song, I would see people in New York City where I do work sometimes when I have to travel, and I would follow people because I swear to God I saw him. And, like I literally had to convince myself that I'm literally actually stalking somebody right now. So, and for years, it's just every day processing grief, then you're processing anger, then you're processing sadness and loneliness and loss and whatever, and guilt and whatever other emotions come up with, losing somebody to suicide. So I guess that's, comes in with the whole, like, doing all the artwork, having his artwork finally being shown, and having a song that could really honor not only him, but reach out to other people that have lost somebody to suicide and people that might be having those kind of ideations themselves. And it took me years to get to that point, because I would be, like, if I tried to write about it, I would either get too sad, too angry, too this, too that. The lyrics would not be right. Nothing would honor him. Nothing would be indicative of how I really felt and how I really wanted to portray that. So when I finally got it out, finally released this album, it is a big weight off my shoulders, but that same feeling that same feeling of loss, of grief, of guilt, regardless of whether you're guilty or not, as you know, it's a big thing you go through. You blame yourself, even if you know you had no control over it. It's still there. I was on the train just a few days ago and swore that I saw him again, and instantly I had to go shut up, stop, just move on with your day. And so, like I said, there's a huge weight, and I'm sure some healing has happened, and I feel like I did something that means something, especially for him and hopefully for other people in the same situation. But at the same time, I'm still hurting, and as you know, and as you said, that'll never go away, and I'm going to probably suffer with these things for the rest of my life, but that is also how it goes. So, like I said, it's kind of a weird double-edged sword. Like, one side's good, one side's still just as bad as it always was,
But seeing him like that, and to me, honestly, that sounds like he's just saying, hey, I'm still here. I haven't left you. That's crazy.
And that's kind of how I wanted, and that is in a way how I feel, regardless of what you believe, whether you have any kind of religious ideations or whatever it might be. He's always going to be a part of me, and partly, it's kind of funny because that brings me comfort, and at the same time, it also fucks me up majorly.
Oh, I understand that completely.
Yeah,
I lost my dad. November would be 20 years now, and there's not a day goes by that I don't think about him. It messed me up. Trust me, it did. So I feel for anybody who's lost a brother, a sister, a dad, a mother, or anybody that they're close to, because there's not a day that goes by that you don't think about them. I mean, there can't be.
Of course.
Exactly. I mean, that's a really tough thing to go through, to say the least. And, I mean, we hope that people can find even the smallest bit of comfort, like knowing that they're not alone in this struggle and knowing that they have people to reach out to that have been through a similar experience.
I'll say this right now, and I haven't actually said this during an interview, but I've said it off interviews and to friends and things, a couple of friends. But when my dad passed away, there were 6 months after that, I almost took my life. So it happens to everybody. You get to that point, and I was stupid. I was just so childish, man. I was stupid. And now
it's a reaction, it's desperation.
Yeah.
And it's loss, and it's a whole lot of things that all kind of blend into one, and that's kind of why people take their own life, because there's no other option, and it has nothing to do with being childish. So you should never feel like what you did was childish. It happened to you.
Yeah.
And you live with your own scars, and there's nothing wrong with that. It doesn't make you worse, childish, cowardly, or whatever misconceptions are out there. Because trust me, there's plenty of them. We hear them every day.
Exactly. And your emotions are never invalid. I mean, just you feeling something so intense, it's never invalid for you to have to feel that way.
And this is why I do BODS Mayhem Hour, because it saved my life from that night, and I hope that it helps somebody during a bad time or gives them inspiration of the band I'm interviewing who they've listened to for years, or just something to help them through whatever they're going through. This is why I do this.
Exactly, because, I mean, you may be inspiring other people out there to want to get into your line of work, to strive towards talking to the bands that they love, or maybe they hear an interview from a band that they love, and it kind of hits home for them. You never know who you're going to impact.
After releasing Brother, has this brought a lot of people together that you've seen because of this song that you guys have put out? Have you guys got a lot of emails or anything about it possibly?
Yeah, actually, when it came out, I was pretty overwhelmed by the amount of people that were reaching out, just with stories of their own loss, not even a suicide, just dealing with loss. Mm-hmm. And there are people that were depressed and, didn't know where their life was going or what they, could do. It was very emotional for me, too, just to see it all. It was just, like I said, it was overwhelming in a good way. I mean, and not like happy-go-lucky kind of overwhelming. It was sad, but it was overwhelming that there were people out there willing to lend their support and share their stories and, help if I could. We had even somebody comment that this song has helped them, deal with the loss of a loved one, or this song has, helped me through a tough time, and, it's only been out for a few weeks, and we're getting, some of the kind of trollish, comments too, but, that's to be expected. Like, somebody said something like, people believe things like suicide is a coward's way out, or suicide is a selfish thing to do. And I'm going to be honest, I lost my first friend when I was 17 to suicide. And, I was young, and I see, the error of my ways, quote unquote, now, but I believed it was a selfish thing he did, and why rip himself away from all of us who were grieving and crying and didn't know how to handle it. But, these are common things that people believe every day, and they're not true. I mean, suicide really is an act of desperation, and, most of the time these people feel like, they're doing their loved ones a favor.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, to me, like, I feel like suicide can't be a selfish thing, because when you get to that point of desperation, like, you're not even thinking about yourself, let alone anybody else. It's like you're putting yourself, you're cutting yourself off from every possible feeling, you're cutting yourself off from life. I feel like it's the least selfish thing. I feel like it's impossible for somebody in that state of mind to realize how it can impact so many people.
And plus, as far as how people have reached out, like, while there's many people that are supporting, and I'm so happy that they are and willing to share their story, and like I said, there are people who have personally reached out to me to be like, well, he's dead, so fuck him, There's been some, fucked up things, but you can't get angry at it. You have to just kind of keep a cool head and be like, well, this is not like this is why you're wrong, but that just try to explain what suicide, what taking your own life, what mental illness to people that really don't understand it, what it really is.
Yeah, it's important to be able to educate people.
So believe it or not,
haven't gone through it or don't understand it.
So believe it or not, even some of the little bit of hate we've gotten, I still appreciate that too. And we've even had people that have come up to us and been like, I used to think, and this is only, again, in a couple of weeks, and it blows my mind, that, like, I used to think that suicide was was the coward's way out, or was the jealous thing to do, or, or they truly didn't care about their family, and I realize now that I was wrong, without me even saying anything, like just a random out-of-the-blue message. And that I don't even have the words for it. It's amazing.
We don't know what that person's going through. I mean, we can assume that we do, but we don't. We don't know what they're going through.
Exactly. You never know somebody's own personal demons, what they're facing.
And even if you think you do, you don't know at all,
Right.
The best that we can do is just try to be there for one another, try to be more compassionate towards each other, try to be a little more patient.
How many people wanted to be part of this video shoot for Brother? Did you guys get a lot of people wanting to be a part of this as well?
Yeah, it was really cool because we had people come out to the shoot that have lost somebody to suicide, and they were able to use it as a platform to to share a feeling or a thought that they had or something that they wanted to express to the person that they had lost to suicide. So I feel like it was a very emotional experience for everybody, but at the same time it was really cool just seeing that sense of community and how everybody was able to be open and honest with each other about their loss and the feelings that they were going through. And we even had one person in the video hold up a sign about a feeling that they had dealt with after contemplating suicide themselves. So, I mean, overall, we hope that all of these messages send a message of hope to people that may be on the fence about killing themselves, or maybe somebody that has lost somebody to suicide. Maybe this will help them feel not alone.
What do you both hope that everyone takes away from, or message you hope they hear while listening to any of Aurin's music in general? What do you both hope that everybody takes away from it?
I mean, this phrase may be a cliche, but we use it a lot, and it's true that you are not alone. You are not a monster. You are not, different. I mean, everybody's unique and, just like everyone else. But I mean, you're not different in the fact that you're abnormal. You are, you are special. Your life means something. And it's okay to think the way you do sometimes, and it's normal to think those things. And, for the people that are contemplating hurting themselves or taking their own lives or struggling with addiction, that there is help, there is people who care, and there's always someone to reach out to. Even if it's an acquaintance, even if it's somebody you barely know, you'd be surprised how willing sometimes people are to listen.
And I feel like for me personally, a lot of the lyrics that I write can be a little dark and depressing, but, it's like, this is my way of expressing myself. And I feel like I want people to feel encouraged that they have an outlet, whether it be like through music or art or through doing work that they love or reaching out to other people. There's a way to get out those depressing feelings or those anxious feelings or feelings of anger or whatever you're experiencing.
Yeah, I mean, I'm going to be honest and say that, I use the word humbled a lot and amazed and things like that because in a way, I mean, in a large way, I truly am humbled every time somebody turns the song on or comments on it or says something. Not, just because, my own, depression, my own, issues, I believe everyone hates us and nobody wants to listen to us, and what's the fucking point half the time?
And honestly, I will second that because it's just that's what you deal with when you go through a depression or anxiety or any other mental illness.
Since this album's been out, guys, is there a country that stands out or shocks you that your guys' music has getting support from, or this album's even get played in possibly?
We're getting quite a bit of support from, granted, just looking at numbers and just talking to people, we've been getting a good amount of support from Germany, but most of our, which is really cool, but mostly everything has been kind of centered in the U.S., as far as we know, at least right now.
Mm-hmm. Well, to see that other countries are listening to our music and reacting to it.
Did you both have a go-to album or song when you were younger, or maybe even today you have that possibly?
Oh, man. There's so many. What about you, Andrew?
I had two albums as a kid that I listened to constantly. One was Stain's Dysfunction, and the other one was Cold's 13 Ways to Bleed on Stage.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Oh, man. For me, the ones that stick out in my mind right now, I have Pink Floyd, Dark Side of the Moon.
Nice.
I don't know why, but the song Brain Damage, always just, for some reason, it gave me a sense of humor in my mental illness. That's kind of just what sticks out in my mind, but there were just so many other, so many other bands that have helped me through my dark times.
Yeah, I mean, we could probably just sit here and talk for hours about our favorite albums, but, you know.
All right, Andrew. So what about Code's 13 Ways to Bleed on Stage? What was your favorite song off that album?
Bleed is my all-time favorite song of any genre, of anything. You know, Scooter Ward and Aaron Lewis sitting there with acoustics, you know, just talking about what music means to them was basically like, I forgot what year that was, but I think the first time I heard it, I cried. And that is honestly something that has just stuck with me to this day.
For some reason, I think it's 2000 when that album came out. I want to say it was like earlier 90s, though.
I wanted to say 99 or 2000 or 2001, but I wasn't sure of the year. I was a young kid when it came out, and I picked it up as soon as it came out.
Send in the Clowns is my favorite song off that album.
Another song with Aaron Lewis.
It's just, God, it's just heavy. And when you hear Aaron come in and say, sending the Clowns with the growl and stuff, it's just, oh, God, it's good. It's good.
I just saw Cold again a couple weeks ago. They played in Jersey. They're fantastic.
I just had Scooter Ward on the show not long ago.
Oh, amazing.
That's awesome.
As always, folks, get out and check out Aurin. Get out and check out their album Serotonin via TLG INgrooves and pick this album up. It's out right now. And also get out and pick up their single Brother. Check out their video for it as well. Sarah and Andrew, how can folks stay in touch with you guys? Buy some merchandise, tour dates, all this good stuff. How can they do that?
So you can check us out on aurinband.com. It's www.aurinband.com. You can also check us out on facebook.com/aurinband. That's AURINBAND. And Instagram.com/aurinband.
Basically, wherever there's social media, just type in Aurin Band.
Yeah, I mean, we love to hear from people, and we love talking with our fans, or we love talking with anybody who wants to reach out.
Yeah, except our YouTube. That's Aurin TV. But other than that, you know.
Before I let you guys go, would you care to do a promo for the show as always?
Of course. Hey, everybody, this is Sarah.
And Andrew from Aurin.
And you are listening to BODS Mayhem Hour.
Everybody stick around. We got some great stuff coming up, and you only hear these interviews right here on BODS Mayhem Hour and BODS Mayhem Radio Network. Please get out and check out our Facebook page. It has our podcast link, YouTube link, and also soon our Twitch link. And it's very vital that you get out and check out our YouTube link because anything and everything will be going up on our YouTube page and a lot of stuff also on our podcast link as well. Everybody get out and check out Aurin. They got some great stuff that's out there right now, and you won't be disappointed. So Sarah and Andrew, you're always welcome back, and I wish you guys the best of luck as always.
Thank you so much. It's always
you.
a pleasure talking with you, John.
Yeah, no problem. Glad to have you on anytime.
Awesome. Thank you.
You're listening to BODS Mayhem Hour.
Follow us on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram.